for the Chicago Cubs this year. And speaking of rookies, Jess, Kris Bryant just might win Rookie of the Year in the National League.
Well, because he has such an explosive swing with that bat speed. Just the last 7 games, 346 and 3 home runs.
On the mound tonight for the Dodgers, Crucky, left-hander Alex Wood, one of the players they picked up just before the deadline from Atlanta.
Yeah, and they need someone to step in behind Kershaw and Greinke to solidify a spot in this rotation. Alex Wood is a guy like every other pitcher. Fastball command is huge with him, but Don Mattingly told us once he gets to the 3rd time through the order, the numbers spike dramatically. Let's see if he can get to that 3rd time in the order and what Mattingly does with him when he gets there.
Big crowd again here at Dodger Stadium. They just went over the 3 million mark. First team to do that this year. Don Mattingly, the manager on the left. Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach on the right. 5th season as the manager of the Dodgers for Donnie Baseball. And a team that's been in the postseason the last couple of years. They have made moves. They have a new management team. Andrew Friedman now is the president of the Dodgers. They have spent a ton of money, to say the least. They're in a good spot to head to the postseason if they can play well in September. But it still feels, Cruck, even though they've won 5 in a row right now, like they're still kind of finding out about themselves as a baseball team right now.
Yeah, you know, most teams at this time of year, okay, this is our lineup, this is what we're going with. The Dodgers don't have that. When Howie Kendrick comes back, talk about Chase Utley going to 3rd base. When Yasiel Puig comes back, does Andre Ethier lose some playing time? Or does Carl Crawford lose some time? They have so many veteran players that are used to playing that once September rolls around, they get the full health. It's going to be difficult for Don Mattingly to keep them all happy.
And again, keep in mind, the Dodgers and Giants have 7 games left against one another through the rest of the season. You're a California kid yourself. You grew up here. Dodger-Giant rivalry, never dull, always exciting.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to even talk about either of those two teams in Southern California and not getting into a fight. But that's definitely something locals here know well aware.
Giants are here for 3 beginning tomorrow. The Dodgers in San Francisco for 4 beginning the final Monday of the regular season. We have your typical late afternoon West Coast shadows here as we begin this one. Dexter Fowler, Chris Denorfia, Kris Bryant for the Cubs, and Alex Wood on the mound for the Dodgers. Fowler, a .252 hitter, hitting from his strong side. He's a .321 batter from the right side of the plate. And underway here in L.A. with the first pitch strike. Pat Hoberg is the home plate umpire tonight. The crew chief Jim Joyce is at first. Greg Gibson at second and Chad Fairchild at third. And the breaking ball runs inside, a ball and a strike. For those who haven't seen Wood, the first thing that kind of jumps off the screen at you is that unusual delivery that he has. More pronounced, I would imagine, for a left-handed batter, which both of you were. Now they're checking on the strike zone as the count goes to 1-2.
Yeah, the first thing you have to do with Alex Wood is you have to figure out, okay, where is his release point? I think you'll see Cubs pitchers take some pitches to get a look at it and see where they have to adjust their eyes to. But, you know, the bottom line is you can do whatever you want, Dan. When the ball leaves his hand, he's just like any other pitcher. You know, you pick up his release point, and that's all you have to really concentrate on.
He's 24 years of age, University of Georgia. Now had a .278 ERA last year. Has not pitched as well this year. He's got a .434 ERA in 5 starts with the Dodgers. Swing and a miss by Fowler. 1 down.
We talked about the fastball command by Alex Wood. Look at this pitch right here up in the strike zone. The fastball up after throwing 2 strikes. One, first pitch, center of the plate. Second one, down and away. He got a call to get strike 2, and then he elevates the fastball to Dexter Fowler. And like you said, Dan, the shadow's tough to see. That ball gets on you a lot quicker.
Chris Denorfia getting the start in right field for the Cubs. Jorge Soler's on the DL with an oblique injury. So Joe Madden kind of mixing and matching a little bit in the outfield. Sometimes Kyle Schwarber is in left, but he is not tonight with a lefty on the mound. Matt Caesar gets the start in left.
I think a huge advantage too for Wood is not only the shadows, but first time through the lineup with the windup you mentioned, Crucky, is them just kind of adapting to that along with Sun to shadow this first time through.
He's been compared a little bit at times just in terms of the delivery with a Chris Sale, a lefty who's got a very unique delivery. If you think of a right-hander like Ubaldo Jimenez, when his arm goes way behind him, as Woods does at that point right there.
It's just all about timing. I mean, I think this is where you utilize being on deck. I mean, a lot of times you see guys on deck and they're talking, they're relaxing, but right now, you know, watching the Cubs, making sure they're getting as close to home plate as possible to simulate that.
And Wood frustrated with himself in the early going as he misses wide for ball 4. And now Rookie of the Year candidate Chris Bryant, who's hitting .366 over his last 11 games. Got 20 homers and 77 RBIs on the season. And an early visit to the mound, Yasmani Grandal going to try to settle down Alex Wood a little bit.
Yeah, never a good thing when the catcher has to go out after 2 hitters. Converse with your pitcher. It might have been a mechanical thing that he noticed, why he was throwing everything away from Denorfia. Hopefully, it was a little suggestion to get him corrected and get him back in the zone.
A very productive rookie season for Bryant, who of course was all the rage back in spring training. Cubs didn't have him up right at the beginning of the year, brought him up midway through April. And that story was front page news all around baseball for several weeks, but he has delivered on his promise so far this season. Also has 12 stolen bases, has improved at third base. And he drills a ball to left field, carrying to the wall. It is gone. Chris Bryant with a line drive into the bleachers and left, and the Cubs have an early 2-0 lead.
Well, with Alex Wood, Dan, the first batter, he looked like, okay, man, he got something going on against Dexter Fowler. Painting with pitches. Denorfia couldn't come close. First pitch out over the plate. So what do you do when you're missing away? You try to make an adjustment and try to come in, and he just didn't get it into Chris Bryant. And that's going to be a familiar sight to National League pitchers for a lot of years to come.
Number 21 on the season for Bryant. Early lead for the Cubs. Anthony Rizzo, the batter. Just a lot of elevation on that swing by Bryant. I mean, is there such thing as too much of an uppercut? It seems to be working for him.
Well, you know, he's a guy that gets a lot of grief for the amount of strikeouts he has, and a lot of it has to do with his swing, because he has that beautiful path that he's willing to take, and you see where he gets his hands into the zone, middle in pitch. Watch him just get the barrel right to where he is, and you see that finish, that long, pretty finish. I mean, he's got the bat speed, the swing. So much about him. He's only going to get better.
Yeah. And when you talk about combos, you can envision Bryant and Rizzo, as good as they are and as young as they are, becoming as good a duo as there is in baseball over the next several years. Rizzo hits one past the mound. Rollins behind the bag at second will throw him out 2 down.
Yeah, and how about Kyle Schwarber in that mix too, Dan?
Yep. Schwarber, a guy not in the lineup tonight, again with a lefty on the mound in Wood, but a guy with immense power. Spent a couple of months in the big leagues with the Cubs this year, has a dozen homers. There's Schwarber, can catch, can play left field, and can hit. And at some point, Crucky, Schwarber gets more established. Soler comes back. Baez figures it out and makes it back to the majors on a permanent basis. They got a chance to have some awfully good, awfully young players all on the field at the same time.
Yeah, and that's, you know, there's another one too who's only 25.
Starlin Castro with a base hit to left field. He's been pushed out of the shortstop position. Now is really a utility guy, part-time second baseman.
Well,
Solid singer.
Sorry, Dan, but Alex Wood doesn't have the stuff to keep throwing the ball down the center of the plate, and that's what he did right there. You know, even after Bryant hit the home run, the first pitch to Rizzo was a pitch that Rizzo normally drives to left center field, and he took it for a strike. But you know, if he stays over the center of the plate like this and can't hit corners, and I talked about getting through the third time of the order, he ain't going to get there.
2-0 Cubs off and running here in the top of the first, trying to avoid a sweep. Matt Caesar getting a start in left field, the former Villanova football star, hitting .222. How about this, guys? You know how players with options get sent down, called up, sent down, called up. It's kind of the life of that on the verge of becoming a major leaguer. This is the 7th. He was called up Wednesday. It's the 7th stint with the Cubs this year for Caesar. He's gone down and back up again 7 times this year. Lifts the ball into shallow right, dropping it in for a base hit. And around to third on the play goes Castro.
You got to think where the sun is playing for the right side of this field. And Ethier just did not get a good jump on this. This is his ball all the way, and he hesitates initially. And it's that ball that just kind of finds a spot. Utley does everything he can to go back, but where the ball is located in relation to the sun, Ethier should have been all over it.
Couldn't have hit it any more perfect. Drop it in.
So the inning continues. 2-0 the Cubs lead. Runners on the corners, 2 down. The batter is the catcher Miguel Montero, hitting .230. He's a power threat as well with 14 homers. And a swing and a miss. We saw Rizzo, a left-handed batter, face Wood a little bit earlier. Now Montero. Both of you hit left. What are the challenges here against a guy like Wood?
I think the biggest thing is just the fact that you lose the ball, you know, and what Crucky talked about earlier is just finding the release point, not focusing so much what he does in the windup. You want to follow the ball naturally as a hitter. That gets you on time, and if you lose it even for a second, it can throw you off.
Is there a fear with a guy with a windup like this, like it's going to hit you in the hip or hit you in the ear more so than most lefties?
No, that would be Chris Sale. That would be the fear with him, because he really crossfires and throws 97, 98. You know, one of the best left-handed pitchers in the game. But yeah, with Alex Wood, it's just all the movement.
Slow roller up the first baseline, and Wood on to first in time to end the inning. But Chris Bryant strikes a 2-run line drive homer into the left field bleachers. And trying to end a 4-game losing streak, the Cubs are off to an early 2-0 lead. Is 5 for 25 since he was acquired from the Phillies. And Andre Ethier, who's now going to play more than he was with Puig on the DL. And Crucky, he's been hot. He deserves to play.
Yeah, hitting almost 400 in the month of August, but driving in runs, driving in key runs for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and protecting Adrian Gonzalez in the lineup so he gets better pitches to hit.
He may not be as big a household name as some other starting pitchers, including his own teammate John Lester, but Jess, this guy's having about as good a year as anybody in the National League.
Look at his ERA, you look at his numbers, everything's going to come off of that fastball command. When you talk about the multitude of pitches, but also, you know, he's got a sinker, a slider in addition to that fastball, but with his slider, the way he can manipulate that pitch, make it look like a cutter, that's where I feel like he's been the best in August.
He always had a lot of promise with the Baltimore. He's taken it to a completely different level with the Cubs. He is second in the National League in ERA, and Dodgers are first and third. Zach Greinke 1, Clayton Kershaw 3. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Has picked it up a bit in the second half of the season, but still hitting just .220 on the year, still with some pop, 13 homers. Switch hitter batting left-handed and facing the shift from the Cubs.
And how many times you see that against a leadoff hitter? A shift that pronounced.
But unlike most shifts, and now Bryant is going to leave where he was, or rather Addison Russell is over there right now. Bryant's out in right field. Russell's going to leave where he was and go back to his shortstop position, because now they're not worried about the bunt anymore. But Rollins had a huge hole where the shortstop normally plays. Joe Madden will keep you on your toes.
And every pitch has been away, which you would think you're pitching against your defense, but you know, Jimmy Rollins throughout his career has been basically a dead pull hitter. When he goes the other way, he becomes a better hitter. But home run ball, he likes that home run ball.
High fly ball to center. Room for Fowler, 1 down. A lot of Cub fans in the house here in LA tonight. Cubs up 2-0 bottom of the first, and here's Chase Utley, just picked up from the Phillies. Really struggled for the first part of the season, spent 6 weeks on the DL with inflammation in his ankle, came back off the DL crazy hot, was traded to the Dodgers and has not continued that hot streak, as you can see, hitting 200. But they need him right now. Just Howie Kendrick on the DL with a hamstring injury, so they pick up a veteran who's been there, done that.
Well, and that's been the biggest thing, is his role inside the clubhouse and really what he can do and bring to this team this time of year.
Reunited with his double play partner Jimmy Rollins. And a strike from Arrieta. And the count is 0-2. Utley's actually been taking some ground balls at third base in case the Dodgers decide to maybe try him there once Kendrick comes back, which they hope is in the middle of September. Utley has not played third base in the majors, Crucky, but he's been out there taking ground balls, and Don Mattingly told us the throw's going fine. He's got the arm, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, that's the issue this late in the year, to put a guy somewhere where he's never been. And I know when he was in the minor leagues with the Phillies, they tried him at third base for a while. I think when he was in Double-A, and I don't think Chase liked it too much, but you get to this point in your career, Dan, and you know when all that matters is winning, and which has basically been Chase Utley's whole career was all about winning and playing winning baseball. If Don Mattingly says we need you to play third, I'm sure he'll go and do the best he can.
Southern California guy back close to home here playing for the Dodgers. Again, the 0-2 from Arrieta. And there's a slower breaking ball, an 82-mile-an-hour curveball that misses down and away. Arrieta holding left-handed batters to a 173 average on the season. And again, great numbers: 16-6, a 2.22 ERA, career high in innings already, 178 strikeouts on the season this year. Joe Maddon saw him when Arrieta was an Oriole and Maddon was the Tampa Bay manager. Got to manage against him a lot. Now he gets to have him on his team. Scoop nicely out at second by Starlin Castro, who Joe Maddon just told us before the game hasn't said boo. He's been absolutely okay with Russell taking over at short and the reduced role for Castro.
Well, and this is what you have now. You have two shortstops playing in the middle for the Chicago Cubs. And that's something that Starlin Castro, to me, it looks like he's adapted to quickly, is the time clock. Playing second base, he catches that hard hit ball. He knew he didn't have to rush. He took his time. If that was playing shortstop, you know, maybe a jump throw, maybe some other type of throw, 360 turn. But, you know, he's figured that part out, which is nice to see if you're a Cubs fan.
So handling the change well, giving the Cubs more option. Addison Russell, Joe Maddon says, playing a great shortstop right now. He's all of 21 years of age. And a quick 0-2 count now on Adrian Gonzalez, having another very solid season. 24 homers, 75 driven in. This guy might be about as consistent as any player in baseball.
Yeah, you know, he was Mark Teixeira when, you know, early in Mark Teixeira's career. You can pencil him in for 30 and 100 and basically a 300 batting average seemingly every year.
A good start for Arrieta. 3 up, 3 down. Go the Dodgers. We're at the end of one with the Cubs leading 2-0. And Jake Arrieta hitting in the 8th spot, as Joe Maddon has done all season with his pitcher. Takes a strike from Alex Wood. And if you're not familiar, and I think most people probably are by now, Joe Maddon feels this is a better situation for Addison Russell, who's hitting 9th. That he'll get more pitches to hit hitting in front of the leadoff hitter than hitting in front of a pitcher. He also feels it gives you an opportunity to pinch hit for your pitcher one spot earlier if need be, and with Russell hitting 9th, it gives them a chance to have more men on base for the 2, 3, 4 hitters. And Joe Maddon not afraid to think outside the box, try something new. He's not the first guy to do it, but he's been doing it every day this year. Tony La Russa, of course, did it a ton when he was managing the Cardinals. Swinging a foul off. 1-2. The count remains on Arrieta. Dan Shulman, John Kruk, Jessica Mendoza, Buster Olney with you in Los Angeles. For those who may not be familiar, and I think most people are, Jess is a 4-time All-American at Stanford, a 2-time Olympian, a staple of our coverage at the Women's College World Series. Part of our Baseball Tonight team. Did the game Monday night in, where was it, Phoenix?
Yep.
In Phoenix, and now here on Sunday night. Did I read that just like you wanted
to? Don't read any of it.
Yeah, and you guys have known each other for a while, right?
Yeah, we worked together 8 years ago? 7, 8 years ago at the Women's College World Series.
A couple years in a row. He came back. I mean, we didn't even scare him. I mean, that was.
He loves his softball.
I love softball, but the only reason I came back was Beth Moen.
Oh, yeah.
You know that.
What? I got nothing. I mean, come on, a little bit.
No, I'm
Something?
still in shock that you were a 4-time All-American. Must have been slow years on it.
Brucky.
No, I'm kidding. Coach Candrea, the coach of the U.S. team when Jess was playing in the Olympics, told me that she's probably the greatest hitter in the world at that time, and so when we start talking hitting, let's go to her first.
All right.
Yeah.
I would argue with him for sure, but
well, when you're best in the world, it's like Michael Jordan territory. Michael Jordan's the best in the world.
I mean,
People think Clayton Kershaw's the best pitcher in the world right now.
I think you and I could have like a face-off of hitting that would be kind of fun. No, come on.
I couldn't swing around my gut right now.
2-1 the count on Addison Russell. Jess, you had a chance to talk to Russell before the game, right?
Yeah, I think what's cool about him, we talk a lot about the leg kick and something that hasn't been new in baseball, but definitely getting more trendy. This is something that Addison added last couple months. He said he just wasn't feeling very fluid, wasn't seeing the ball well, and he saw teammates of his and Schwarber, Rizzo. Let me try this. Got in the cage, and he said literally the next day he went 3 for 3, just adding the leg kick. And he said it just allowed him to be a little bit more fluid, allowed him to see the ball better, which I thought was ironic because there's some guys that the leg kick I think takes away from seeing the ball well because their weight's moving so much. They get that head movement.
High fly ball to center. Jock Peterson shading his eyes from the sun will make the catch. 2 down.
And Jock Peterson's actually one of them that his head will move. But when you watch Addison Russell, I mean, he just does a good job. And this is just something of a feel. Hitters, it's all about feel. And you look at that leg kick, but watch where he gets. He gets into that great, powerful position. And he doesn't slow down. So see, the leg kick comes, he gets the foot down, here comes the backside, the hands, the beauty. It's gone. It's a beautiful, nice rhythm that he has. And I think you see a lot of guys play around with it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
To those of us who couldn't hit a beach ball if it was sitting on a tee, it seems like a big leg kick like that an off-speed pitch would really mess with your timing when your leg is that high up in the air. But that doesn't happen.
Dan, it's all about the front foot. When you get it down, and then your hands have to stay back. So I think you see guys that get the leg kick and then they come down so hard. Eyes are moving. You're right. They're susceptible to that pitch.
1-2 the count on Fowler. Struck out to begin the game. 2-0 the Cubs lead. Top of the second. Chris Bryant with a first inning home run for all the offense so far tonight. 1-2 from Alex Wood. Up and in with a fastball. Breaking ball misses outside, framed by Grandal, but to no avail, and the count now full. Up to 38 pitches already for Alex Wood.
Alex Wood struggling with command.
Weak ground ball left side, charged by Kike Hernandez, and safe at first is Fowler, who runs well. Gonzalez really had to stretch on that wide throw. Dodgers may be thinking about reviewing this right now as you get a look at a replay.
I think it's a good call because it looks like the ball goes in the dirt and it's still not controlled.
Right. It's kind of smothered by Gonzalez.
Well, just that picture there, that according to the rule, it has to hit the back of when it hits the back of Adrian's glove. I don't think it ever hit the back of his glove, and not sure he had control of it till right about now.
Yeah, agreed. No challenge by the Dodgers, so safe at first is Fowler. Kike Hernandez has started at 5 different positions for the Dodgers. Has been playing a lot of center field recently. Can play all over the field. That will go as a base hit for Fowler, and it will get Denorfia to the plate.
Cracky, you mentioned this off the top. For the Dodgers heading down the stretch is still figuring out who they are, and I think these are the little things. Kike is a tremendous athlete. He can play everywhere. There's no doubt about it, but that's a read play. Your speed. You understand, maybe I throw this off my front foot instead of fielding it and coming through, and I think when you play there every day, you know it.
Actually, I said he had started at 5 different positions. Make it 6. third. This is his first one at third base tonight. He has started at second, short, third, left, center, and right. So with his start at third base tonight, he has now started at 6 different positions. Swing and a miss, 1-2 on Denorfia.
What was the comment from Don Mattingly when you asked him which one he plays best? I don't know.
Because he does. He plays a lot well. And you see this last play. When you see Fowler, you know automatically, okay, I'm not going to just take this, field this in my glove. I need to run through this and throw it off my front foot. First game at third base, you give him benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you give him a little benefit of the doubt. Yeah, but that is, you're right, though. You know, if he runs through that ball, you saw him take a couple stutter steps. And with a guy like Fowler, a couple stutter steps means safe. Denorfia was trying to go the other way there.
You mean the other way into the seats, or you mean the other way right field?
Yeah, he's like, all right, Joe, look at.
That was more like cricket.
Yeah, this is okay. It's a ball. It's a ball. It's a ball. Oh boy, it's a strike. Now watch him pull one down the left field line.
Well, the shadows may be getting easier for the hitters, but they're not so easy right now for Adrian Gonzalez at first base.
Last throwdown, he kind of turned.
Yeah. Fowler didn't see it at all. He covered his head. Didn't want to get hit by the ball that he couldn't see. Breaking ball popped up right side, foul territory, and back in the first row. Fowler with a good speed, 17 steals on the season, been caught 7 times. Again, the 1-2. And again, a foul off to the right side. A chance for us to tell you what's coming up tomorrow night on ESPN. A Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA, 7 Eastern time. It'll be the New York Yankees who put up 20 runs on Atlanta today. Taking on the Boston Red Sox. David Ortiz homer today, number 494 in his career. The Yankees trying to keep pace with the Blue Jays atop the American League East. Both teams won today. Both teams swept their weekend series. So it remains a 1.5 game margin between Toronto and New York, both of whom are in a pretty good spot to make the playoffs right now. But obviously, you want to win your division if at all possible.
Did you say the Yankees scored 20?
I did.
Did Johnny Gomes pitch Friday night? They scored 15.
Johnny Gomes had a little Johnny Cueto going when he was pitching. Tampa Bay, Baltimore have fallen off. Base hit through the left side for Denorfia after a lengthy at bat. That'll get Bryant to the plate.
It's just a quality at bat, not a beautiful hit, but the way he kept fouling off those pitches, Crucky, letting that ball travel, just seeing it deep, trying to force him to throw something he was looking for.
Well, that's one of those things you wonder why he sped his bat up with throwing an off-speed pitch. When he's shanking everything over the dugout, then you come back with a changeup and he can pull it in the hole between short and third.
Denorfia now 5 for 6 lifetime against Wood. And here's Chris Bryant, who homered last inning. Just over the outside edge for a strike, 0-1. The home run for Bryant is 21st. RBIs number 78 and 79. A line drive into about the 3rd or 4th row of seats in the left field bleachers.
This is where I think Wood is struggling, is really establishing that inside to these righties so that he can start to use his off speed more in a more effective way. Be able to come in there and into that kitchen. He's just having a hard time locating anywhere in the inside part of the plate.
Fowler at second, Denorfia at first, 2 down. Just outside, ball 2. As you would imagine, he's tougher on lefties. The righties see the ball a lot better. The numbers follow suit. Not a hard thrower. Pretty much 89-90 with a fastball. Change up away, ball 3.
Now what's he do? We saw the numbers, righty lefty. Rizzo's up next, but Rizzo's one of the best lefties at hitting left-handed pitchers. So what do you do here? You got to try to go down and away and hope Bryant chases and rolls over, hits a grounder to Jimmy Rollins.
Went with a breaking ball, 3-2.
Pretty gutsy right there. Not having much command of his pitches. Going 3-1 breaking ball.
Getting his work in 30 pitches in the inning, 52 through an inning and 2/3. Trying to get out of this without any damage done. Runners will be on the move. Got him. Back-to-back breaking balls to strike out Bryant and strand a couple. Good recovery by Wood. Bryant shaking his head as he comes in. The 2-run homer by Chris Bryant, but Alex Wood just struck out Bryant with 2 men on to end a threat in the top of the second. It'll be Andre Ethier, Carl Crawford, and Yasmani Grandal for the Dodgers. Ethier is hot, hitting .397 in the month of August, as Montero appears to be okay. Ethier, though, not playing on an everyday basis throughout August. 23 for 58. With Puig healthy, they've got Puig and Ethier and Crawford, and it's become a familiar refrain in the last couple of years. Too many outfielders and not enough spots. But with Puig now back on the DL with a hamstring strain, different hamstring than the first injury he had. Ethier's going to play every day, and Don Mattingly, Crucky likes the versatility. Ethier can play left and play right. They can put him in center if they need to, but he's really the corner outfielder.
Yeah, and I think the more important thing is like I said earlier, yeah, they finally found someone hot to hit behind Adrian Gonzalez. And you know, when if Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley can get on base, it's going to get Adrian better pitches to hit, especially against right-handed pitchers, because Andre's swinging it so well.
Arrieta nods in agreement with Montero. 0-2 breaking ball hit weakly up the first baseline. Arrieta off the mound with plenty of time to make the play one down. That'll bring up Carl Crawford, hitting in the 5 spot tonight. Crawford has hit first, second, 5th, 6th. 4 different spots for the Dodgers. A guy who, it seems to often to be the case, has had trouble putting a consistent, healthy year together. Hoping that Don Mattingly hoping he can inject a little bit of speed into the lineup, although Crawford doesn't run nearly as much as he used to. Just 4 steals this year. Looping fly ball to left, carries out to Caesar, 2 down. And 5 in a row set down by Arrieta to begin his night. Hey, they fill this place, don't they?
They're over $3 million already.
Yep.
Well, they're a good team. Interesting team. You never know what you're going to get from day to day, so I'm sure it's fun to come out.
Yeah. Haven't been a lot of dull moments the last couple of years.
I'm sure when Greinke and Kershaw pitch, it's filled, which I think I'd pay to watch both of them too.
Hoping those two can lead them back to the postseason and maybe further than they've gone the last couple of years. 19th year in the last 20, they've gone over $3 million. The Dodgers not only haven't won the World Series since 1988, have not been to the World Series since 1988. If the playoffs were to start today, they would play the New York Mets in a division series.
How's that for a face-off of pitchers?
Yeah.
Greinke, DeGrom, and Harvey and Kershaw. Kershaw and DeGrom, Greinke and Harvey.
You can do it in any order. It's going to work for both managers, I think.
I don't think you have to flip too big a coin. That could be some quick 1-0, 2-1 game.
If the games are out here, some shadows, those pitching matchups could be scoreless going to the ninth. Kershaw is absolutely dealing these days. Right on the corner, a strike and a full count on a ground out.
It's cool too to see, or hear, I guess, other pitchers and how they watch. And Buster Olney talked to Kershaw prior to the game about how he watches Arrieta, and Arrieta told us yesterday about how he was watching Kershaw Friday night throw against the Cubs.
Swing and a miss, inning over. 6 up, 6 down for Arrieta. 2-0 Cubs as we go to the top of the third. Cleanup hitter Anthony Rizzo will lead it off.
The numbers are better than Anthony Rizzo's, but I don't know if the Cubs are where they are. To me, the Pirates have a better supporting cast with Gung hitting well and Starlin Marte and Neil Walker starting to pick it up, but and Rizzo's basically a young kid trying to lead younger kids to where they need to be, and they're there, and so it wouldn't surprise me if they were co-MVPs.
Jess, who's your MVP?
I like Paul Goldschmidt. Talk about underrated. That's the guy that's not good. And I know he's with the D-backs, and it's not a team that you're seeing on TV a lot, but this is a guy that I think, along with Rizzo, plays his position well. He can run, he can hit everything.
That's a fair ball, and Gonzalez will make the play, 1 down. Well, that's the age-old argument. Do you have to be on a contending team to win the MVP? Because you can make a case that Bryce Harper and Paul Goldschmidt have had the 2 best seasons of anybody in the National League, but neither one of those teams is in a playoff position right now. Buster, what are your thoughts? And you know the writers better than we do. You know people who vote on these awards better than we do. What do you think the consensus, if there is one, is on this award right now?
I think there has been a drift toward more of a sabermetric analysis of this, where I think writers more and more are looking at the best player, and contending is not as much of a factor, but it is a factor for some writers, and it will be a factor in the voting. If you eliminate the standings from it, there's no question Bryce Harper's the MVP of the National League right now. But we'll just have to wait and see how long the Nationals stay in it. We'll see if the Giants drift back. We'll see if the Diamondbacks can get into it. It's a fascinating race because of that very question, Dan.
Yep. And Buster Posey, if it's possible to be a Rookie of the Year batting champion, MVP, 3-time World Series champion, and still be overlooked, Buster Posey still gets overlooked. He's 6th in the league, 5th in the league in hitting. He's 4th in the league in RBIs. He plays a premier defensive position. It's a good argument.
I do, and I hear what Buster's saying about, sabermetric. Everything's sabermetrics driven right now. Not everything, but a lot of things in this game now are sabermetrics driven. But you're talking valuable. You're not talking numbers. And Paul Goldschmidt's a great player. Bryce Harper's a great player. But if they weren't on their teams right now, would their teams be any better off than they are? Yeah, but maybe the Diamondbacks would be in 4th or 5th place instead of 3rd or 4th, and maybe the Nationals would be in 4th place instead of 2nd. But what's the value? To me, it's a guy who leads your team to win and get into the postseason. That's value. Now, if you want to say outstanding player, sure, Harper and Goldschmidt are as good as anyone in baseball.
Up the middle, a base hit for Starlin Castro, who's 2 for 2. A look back from the Getty Center in Los Angeles. Great panoramic shot, live shot here on a beautiful night. Toasty warm, just the way Crucky likes them. Did you like playing here? Did you like hitting here?
No.
Let me say that.
I didn't like hitting here, and I said it a few years ago. Like, I hated coming to Dodger Stadium, and people on Twitterverse thought that I said I hated the Dodgers and hated Dodger Stadium. You have to remember they had great pitching back then, and that's why you didn't like coming here. It had nothing to do with the field, the city, the whatever. But no, I didn't like playing here. It's big.
Ball doesn't carry well, right?
No.
That's Caesar. Liner to right field. Ethier back, makes the catch with the sunglasses down for out number 2. Most of the shadows have gone away right now. And really, I think the only guy who would have some serious issues with the sun at this point would be the right fielder. That's what he's dealing with. Good luck.
You can tell by the way he gets this ball, he pauses initially off a contact, then he finds it again, but you'll always see a hesitation at some point because that's when the ball goes into the sun. You're just waiting. I think you're smart. He's got the glasses. He's got his bill pulled down. That's all you can really do. Use the glove a little bit to shade and hope the ball finds it.
2 down. Here's Miguel Montero. Did he go on the appeal? He sure did, says Chad Fairchild down to third. By the way, Cubs backup catcher David Ross, who Joe Maddon raved about before the game in terms of what his experience, his leadership, what he's meant to the team, is not with the team right now, at home tending to a family medical situation, and sending our best thoughts to David Ross, hoping he is back with the Cubs very soon and that everything turns out okay at home. So they've got Montero and Schwarber, who can both catch and play the outfield. And of course, in a couple of days, rosters will expand. And then everybody will bring up reinforcements. You can see Wood is no day at the beach for a left-handed batter.
Well, if I were him, I would stick consistently with exactly what he's doing. And right here, the last pitch was a breaking ball, followed before that with a fastball, but he's got that movement that just physics. Everything, you look at the swing of Montero, everything about your body wants to move towards right field, move right up the down, and he has to stop his swing just to be able to make contact. And you can tell he's not seeing the ball that well.
But he earns himself a base hit off the end of the bat, little flare into left field. That was the 7th hit already for the Cubs.
This is him adjusting within the at-bat. His first pitch, he swung at a pitch nowhere in the zone. He fouls off a pitch, and then he takes this. Look at the location. I mean, this is a ball all the way, but he's not sure. He's not seeing it clearly, so he just slows down. Watch him just slow down. His leg's gone. But he keeps that bat path in the zone long enough just to get it off the end, find that one spot on green, get the hit.
And here's where Joe Maddon will talk about, this is one of the situations where hitting the pitcher 8th doesn't work. Yeah, 2 on, 2 outs, first and second. And your 8th hitter comes up and he happens to be the pitcher. But he told us he can live with it. He understands that's going to happen sometimes.
He gave us 3 different reasons, the same 3 he's given us all year. The first reason he always gives is the development of the number 9 hitter, Addison Russell. And yesterday, as an example, when Tommy La Stella was in the lineup, although the pitcher still hit 8th, La Stella hit 9th, Russell hit 7th. But Joe Maddon feels that Russell, a young developing hitter, will get better pitches to hit if he hits in the 9th spot with a position player hitting behind him. Wood makes quick work of Arrieta. The Cubs are stranding some base runners so far here tonight. Play center fielder Jock Peterson in the lineup tonight. Has played sparingly recently because he has been struggling so much second half of the season. Remember, he was one of the big young stars in baseball in the first half, hitting for a ton of power, but the average kept dropping and dropping. Only got 5 hits in the month of August. Oh, good curveball there, and it's 0-2. Isn't that the case, Jess? You're struggling, and the guy throws you a 95-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner with the knees, and then drops a big 12-6 curveball on you.
Exactly, especially Arrieta, who it's no coincidence that he can do that on a regular basis.
McGuire, the hitting coach, looking on for the Dodgers. Well, we told you here's been struggling. Here's the breakdown. 100 points lower since the 3rd of June. So Kike Hernandez, who's at 3rd tonight, has been playing a lot of center field for the Dodgers.
And guys, he's got 21 walks and 5 hits this month. He would become the first player in the history of baseball to post those particular numbers for 1 month.
Curveball just low.
I'm not sure those are numbers you want to go down in history with. 5 hits in a month. But he has made changes, and you know, Donnie Mattingly said, can he take it into a game? And I mean, just watching him hit this at bat, there have been some changes. That Jock Peterson has been willing to make.
Nasty slider at 90 to strike him out.
Well, here's the issue you have when you're trying to work on something during the season against big league pitching. 95, like you said, a breaking ball, 81. Then he goes up and away 95 to see if he would chase. He did. He fouled it off. Then he goes down and in and down and in again. But watch Jock Peterson. Even though he's shortened his leg kick and shortened his stride, the top half just comes flying off. His bottom half flies off, and his head comes with it. And you wonder why he swings and misses at so many pitches. He has to figure out a way. Watch how his... I mean, when he starts his swing and everything's flying off, you know, with two strike, that's not a two-strike approach at all. But when it does, you understand now why he's had this prolonged struggle.
Castro, that ball just ate him up. And safe at first is Hernandez, the first base runner of the night for the Dodgers.
Yeah, let's go back to see Jock Peterson, the struggles that young players go through. But watch this side swing, or watch his swing from the front. It's a slider down and away. But look how everything's pulled off. Look how his top hand rolls over and pulls his back shoulder through. Look at how his back shoulder pulls through. Everything is flown off the ball, and that's with two strikes on a slider in the dirt. You know, that's something that has to change. But again, Don Mattingly told us it's not going to happen overnight. He has to figure out a way to take it into the game, and right there's another issue of, you know, once you step in the box and it's live pitching instead of BP, a lot of things change.
And that's the biggest difference between live pitching and BP. In BP, you can slow it down. You can feel things. You can have more of a feel. And I would say for anything with a struggling hitter, it's about feel. And right now, Peterson just does not feel that. When the adrenaline's pumping, that's your swing. That is his swing. He's always been aggressive with his front side. And changing that is going to be the challenge.
That last play, by the way, the hot shot out to Castro has been scored an error on Starlin Castro. What happened to hometown scoring, Kruk?
Wow, that's a tough one, man.
So Hernandez does not get a base hit. Castro charged with an error. Alex Wood trying to bunt. Bunts it foul, 2-1.
Kiki Hernandez hits a bullet right here.
What do you guys think? Hit or error?
Tell you what, wonder why there's not more guys hitting 300 now.
Hit.
It's always a hit, right?
Wood squares again.
You would want that to be called a hit if you hit it, wouldn't you?
Of course. But I also think that if it hits off your body at some point, can you keep it in front? I'm a critic. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm an outfielder, though.
You must have been a good fielder.
But yeah, if I'm up to bat, heck yeah, it's a hit.
Do you like Wood's setup to bunt there, Kruk?
Well, as someone who couldn't bunt, not knowing the fundamental, you know, the basics of bunting like I didn't, but you gotta remember, this guy can't be it can't be easy to pick up, but I mean, so far everything's good till there.
Got it down on the 3-2 pitch. And the sacrifice advances Hernandez to second. His 7th sacrifice of the season.
See, I think this is, to me, the easiest pitch to bunt because you're trying to bunt it to the first baseman because he has to hold the runner on, and the third baseman's probably charging. But when you throw it inside, you set your bat angle like Alex Wood is. It's so much easier to bunt it toward first base than it would be to third. If you pitch him in, if you pitch him away, he has to reach for it. And he might pop it up, or he might bunt through it, and you get the strikeout. But
so 2 down in the inning, a runner in scoring position for Jimmy Rollins, who lifted a fly ball to center field his first time up. Dodgers without a hit so far in this game, trailing the Cubs 2-0. Rollins hitting just a .152 on the season with runners in scoring position, and has never had a hit off Jake Arrieta.
I was watching the game Friday night, and Jimmy Rollins' first at bat, he hit a base hit to left field. Basically would have been a line drive to shortstop. So he has that ability to do that. And when you look to see where Addison Russell's playing, you know, a ground ball to shortstop right here scores a run.
I think what Arrieta's doing such a good job of right now is his command. He's able to hit those spots. So even with the shift, I think he's been consistently coming inside to Jimmy, where it makes it so hard now to be able to keep your hands inside and find that gap against the shift.
The lead at second by Hernandez. The Dodgers looking to get on the board. High fastball at 95 for ball one.
Sorry, Jazz, but it wouldn't surprise me right there. He showed him the 0-2 fastball up and away. He got strike one and strike two on the slider down and in, so it wouldn't surprise me if he comes back to that pitch down and in.
Fastball away. That slider, we alluded to it a little bit earlier. It's a pitch he can throw anywhere from about 86 to 92, make it look more like a cutter. He calls it a slider. You can throw it with less velocity and more break, or more velocity and less break. It's been a very effective pitch. He'll use it differently against lefties and righties. He's got some weapons. There it is. Nasty, nasty stuff from Jake Arrieta. Strikeout number 4. You've talked about your team in very positive terms all season long. You've hit some rough pitching lately on this road trip, but you're still feeling good about how your team's performing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, this is a tough trip coming out west. We just had a great homestand back in Chicago, and even 3 games at the White Sox. Our guys have been playing great baseball. It's tough, the 2-hour time change. This time of August presents different kinds of problems, so I'm more than pleased with our guys.
What have you liked so far from Arrieta and the mix of pitches he's pitched to the Dodgers so far?
You know, primarily with the fastball. I love when he uses his fastball a lot, and then all that other stuff is much better off of that. You can see he touched 97 a couple times, but the slider is devastating. And the curve, that ball is well struck, isn't it? Nope, off the end. That was positive thinking right there. I think, you know, the fastball is good. It's going where he wants it to go, and then all that other stuff plays.
Joe, Chris Bryant hits a home run the first inning, gets you on the board. You'd struggled to score runs the last 4 games. How big was that?
Nice. It's, you know, obviously to get on the board, and then it probably relaxed Jake a little bit more. You know, KB has done that for us all season. He's got big hits all year. He got it against a left-handed pitcher, which is also very pertinent. So he's done that. He, you know, good or bad, this guy hangs in there very, very well, and it was big to get on the board quickly.
Joe, thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
My pleasure, guys. See us.
Joe Maddon, the manager of the Chicago Cubs, always so comfortable with who he is and the message he's trying to get across. We talked to him before the game today, and I asked him, you know, whenever you talk about the Cubs, every Cubs manager we've ever had to deal with, it's what about the curse? They get asked about it constantly. You just can't escape the talk of it. And I asked Joe Maddon, do they not ask you about the curse, or how do you deal with that? And he said, and I just love the line, he goes, I don't vibrate on that frequency. Now, Joe Maddon is the only manager in baseball who would say to you, I don't vibrate on that frequency. But he's just got a way of talking and relaxing people around him, his players. Everything from dealing with the media, dealing with players, dealing with management. He's just got a really interesting way about it.
And a very relaxed feel. I mean, as we're meeting with them, players are filing in. It's pajama day. They're all dressed in their different outfits. I mean, you don't see a clubhouse as relaxed, yet able to focus in the right moment as a Joe Maddon clubhouse.
Mike Borzella works on the Cubs staff. He used to work for the Yankees, and he told me that Maddon with the Cubs this year is like a combination of Joe Torre and Phil Jackson in terms of how he makes players relax and takes pressure off them, and the messages to him. And the other day, after Chris Bryant had a rough day against Clayton Kershaw, he saw him after the game and said, hey, you know, don't worry about it. Just process it and move on to the next challenge. And Chris Bryant, next day, back to fresh takes.
Fowler strikes out 2 down. Number 5 for Wood. Well, they do have a way of keeping it loose, and a lot of that starts at the top with Joe Maddon. This is some examples on social media of how the Cubs are having fun, whether it's some unusual rally caps, high stepping down the third baseline, protecting each other in the dugout, or the latest, tonight is onesie night on the flight back to Chicago. That is the onesie that Joe Maddon will be wearing on the plane. Everybody in the organization will be wearing a onesie on the charter home.
I think it'd be a good look for you, Dan.
We should do a onesie telecast.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Loosen you up a little bit, Crucky. There's the back of Joe Maddon's onesie. I feel the need for sleep on the flight back home to Chicago, where they will open up a series with the Cincinnati Reds tomorrow.
I saw a couple guys, I think they got off the bus like that. So at some point, they had to walk through the hotel lobby in onesies.
That's great.
Some had some 2-pieces. There were some full-on like all silk pajamas. You had the like Ninja Turtles. Yeah. There was a variance.
They've been doing this back to the Tampa Bay days. This is
Starlin Castro had the Super Mario.
Who had the Hello Kitty? I saw a Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot about a person, right?
2-2 the count on Chris Denorfia. 2 down in the Cubs' 4th. And the inning is over. Best inning yet by far for Alex Wood. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. The Cubs lead the Dodgers 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be the 2-3-4 hitters for Don Mattingly's Dodgers. Chase Utley, Adriana Gonzalez, and Andre Ethier. Utley with a ground out his first time up. Infielders play him slightly to pull. Outfielders slightly the other way as he fouls it off to the left, and it's 1-1. Dodgers don't have a hit through 3 innings. They've had 1 base runner. Kike Hernandez reaching on an error charge to Starlin Castro, a play that could have been ruled a base hit. Dodgers winners of 5 in a row, a season high matching 16 games over the 500 mark, 72-56. The Giants lost earlier today to St. Louis, so the Giants are now 4 games back in the National League West. And again, the Giants are here for the beginning of the 3-game series tomorrow. The Giants are the team that each of these teams is most concerned about, at least in terms of who's behind them. The Cubs 5 up on the Giants in the wild card race. Long toss from Rizzo to Arrieta, covering 1 down.
Well, the key to every great pitcher is to try to make every pitch look like a strike until it gets closer to home plate. There you see a fastball, starts out as a strike, ends up and away, a swing. Then a down fastball, now the slider. Starts everything in the center, breaks it down and into the left. Just watch this to Jimmy Rollins. That ball started knee high down the middle. Your eyes tell you it's a strike. As soon as you start to swing, your bat tells you it's a ball. Go back to the dugout. That's what makes Jake Arrieta so special.
Adriana Gonzalez, the batter.
Oh, my goodness.
Didn't go. And it's ball 1. But let me ask you guys, let's say the Cubs are in the wild card. And right now they would be.
Jake Arrieta.
Hands down.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kruk. You'll have to let me complete the question before you give the answer.
Okay.
But that was the question. As Gonzalez lines one to center field.
You want me to say Lester? So you can see us go out?
No, we don't need to concoct an argument here. But John Lester, 6 years, $155 million, 3 wins in the World Series, the whole deal. Has not had a typical Lester season, although at times he's been very, very good. But Lester's got the bigger name and maybe the bigger resume, but is this hands down, Arrieta's got to start that game if you're the Cubs?
Yes. And Lester threw last night, and to me, yes, it doesn't matter so much how he did last night versus what you think he can do in the postseason. What I see in Arrieta is just this focus. Talking to him yesterday, his ability to understand hitters, and I'm not saying Lester doesn't do that, but he is so locked in right now. I don't care name. I don't care what you've done in the past. You want to win today. You want to win in September, and you want to win in October, Cubs fans. He's your guy.
The thing with John Lester is this: in a 1 game, he can't hold runners. He can't throw the bases, and you can't let that decide the game for a 1 game. I think, in a division series, if Arrieta pitches in a wild card and they advance, the division series, you have no problem throwing John Lester out in game 1. But in one game with the troubles he's had this year holding runners, and it looks like it's going to be the Pirates. If it ends today, they'll play the Pirates, and the Pirates have Harrison, Starling Marte, Polanco, McCutchen, all can run, all can steal bases, and you just take away double play every time someone gets on first base, basically.
How tough is that division?
You
could have Jake Arrieta and Garrett Cole in a wild card game, and whoever survives that goes to play the Cardinals in a division series.
And the great thing about having 2 wild cards now, if we didn't have 2 wild cards, we wouldn't be at this game, because the Cubs have been out of it by now, or close to being out of it. But it's exciting and it's fun, and yeah, I mean,
and it makes winning your division so much more
well
important.
You know, it's funny because we were in the clubhouse today, and they had the Cardinals game on playing the Giants, and you know, a couple guys looked at me and they wanted an answer like, do the Cardinals ever lose? And I didn't want to burst their bubble and say no, but they don't usually.
Arrieta battles back from a 3-0 count to strike out Ethier and end the inning. At the end of 4, still 2-0 Cubs.
Creating for hitters tonight.
Well, pretty good one so far. The key now is going to be if Woody can keep us in it here. You give us up at home early, kept us in it so far. We just got to scratch, put one on the board, and then just try to stay with him till late.
85 pitches for Wood. How much longer?
Well, we're going to try to stretch him a little bit. We'll see where he goes. Obviously, we don't want to be in that pin too much tonight. We don't have to be. We got a few guys that are a little iffy, but we'll just see where he goes.
Donnie, thanks.
Backhanded stop Utley in time at first, and a close play to get the hustling Bryant 1 down. Well, this is one of the issues for the Dodgers guys, is after Greinke and Kershaw, what are they going to get out of 3, 4, 5? Brett Anderson quietly has had a nice season, but the Dodgers have used 16 different starting pitchers this year, 3 more than any team in baseball. And they got 2 Cy Young caliber pitchers, but is the rest of the rotation good enough to get the Dodgers where they want to get?
Well, I think Brett Anderson, can be a guy, if he's the 3rd guy in a 5-game series, and he only has to pitch once. If you can get 2 out of Kershaw. And
Anthony Rizzo with a fly ball left center. It's pretty deep, and Carl Crawford will make the catch on the warning track. 2 down.
Carl Crawford, the reason he's so athletic, not only just gets a good read, but he knows where he's at on the field, makes a reach, and this is a tough play because he's going up against the warning track. He knows he's got the wall coming, but he's very comfortable with his speed and the ability to not only get to this ball, but know where he's at and make the grab.
Now quickly, 2 down here in the top of the 5th. The batter Starlin Castro 2 for 2. Back to that Dodger rotation. You look at Alex Wood and Matt Latos, the 2 midseason pickups by the Dodgers, as probably being the 4 or 5 guys. Well, they had skipped over Latos for a couple of turns because they had some off days. He pitched decently yesterday, only went through 4 2/3.
Well, I think that, that's the big issue with Don Mattingly right now. I think the top 3 are set. If you're going to a 4-man rotation in the postseason, that's a decision. And to me, Donnie, the way he manages, I think it's going to be a matchup. If they play, possibly if they play the Cubs, then it could be the 3rd hit for Castro.
Yeah, he's having a big night at the plate. 2 singles, now a double.
If you're playing the Cubs and you want to try to keep Rizzo at bay, you might want to pitch Wood, but this pretty good duo right here if you want to throw them at you.
2 guys who combined have an ERA under 2.
It seems like those hitters take days off when those 2 pitch.
Kershaw in his last 11 starts has given up 9 earned runs. He's walked 8, and he has struck out 105.
Guys, I talked to evaluators who saw Kershaw's last start here the other night against the Cubs, and they told me they thought it was the best start that Kershaw ever had, which is obviously high praise. They talked about how well he was commanding the fastball inside the right-handed hitters. It's been really being very special compared to what he's done in the past.
having another great year. Probably not going to lead the majors in ERA, which he's done 4 times, because Greinke's going to do it. Talking about having a great year.
And he can swing it.
Yep. .161.
That's, oh boy. It's pretty good 5-man rotation.
I think that's what makes it hard for whoever is going to be number 3, number 4, because if you're an opponent, once you get through Greinke, once you get through Kershaw, find out you're not facing either. I feel like there's such a mental advantage to that. And when I was not facing an ace, there was such a relief and even an added confidence, regardless if the number 3 was a 3 ERA.
Watch Chase Utley right here drop his knee down on this pickoff play to Starlin Castro. Watch him, he blocks the base. Now the question is, did he tag him before Starlin Castro's hand got on the base? It looked like Castro got the hand on before Utley could apply the tag.
So a little stalling here to see if the Dodgers want to review this.
Yeah, and that's a play right there. You Starlin Castro, you're any Cubs player right now. You put that in the memory bank. Okay, if he's going to block the base, we got to slide Spike first. And make it a little painful to want to stick your leg down there and block it, because that's the only way. You don't want to see anyone get hurt, but again, you don't want to be nice and let someone just tag you out for no reason. But that's what Chase Utley brings. If you're the Dodgers, that grittiness and willing to risk injury to help your team.
Two-hopper to short. Rollins with a low throw, dug out by Adrian Gonzalez to end the inning. Good scoop by one of the better first basemen in baseball. Cubs now out hitting the Dodgers 8-0, but still only leading 2-0 as the Dodgers get ready to come up in the bottom of the 5th. Little on the hot side for some of us, but nice. Bottom 5. Dodgers don't have a hit yet in this game, as they send up 5, 6, 7 to Carl Crawford, Yasmani Grandal, Jock Peterson against Jake Arrieta. That's bringing Buster Olney from the field.
When Arrieta was traded from the Orioles to the Cubs 2 years ago, one of the first conversations he had was with president of the Cubs, Theo Epstein. And what they talked about was Arrieta pitches with a natural crossfire, and in his work with the Orioles through mechanics and focus on that, he'd gotten away from that. So what he talked to Theo about was, I just want to get back to throwing the ball to the way I felt when I was a kid, just a natural motion, and that's what he has worked on, and he feels like that's really helped his fastball command.
Crawford strikes out, and we talked about it a little bit this morning at our meeting. Isn't that a great thing for young players, whether you're hitters or pitchers, as you guys both know as well as anybody, just to be able to do it your way. That your way could be the right way, even if it's different from somebody else's way.
How much getting overcoached at a young age, and I loved Arrieta saying, I was 8 years old. This is how I threw. I didn't step straight towards home plate. I was a little different. I was a little funky. And he looks at pitchers like Kershaw Friday night, and he's like, I love that he has a different way of getting to that position that we all get to. But does it really matter at the end of the day how we get it? For me, it's about natural athletic movement. It reminds me, Crucky, of hitters. Every hitter's got a different way in their stance, but it's all about getting to that slot position the same way.
And the good ones get there more often than not. And we know this season that Jake Arrieta has had, he's getting into it a lot. But I mean, you see it right there. The back's turned to the hitter. The step toward third base and the crossfire. What it adds is, first of all, great stuff he has, but to some deception. And that's how you throw off a hitter's timing. And you see the Dodgers, some of the pitches that they're swinging at, the breaking balls in the dirt. Jock Peterson, Jimmy Rollins swung at him to strike out. It's deception and great stuff. And when you have both, like Kershaw, like Greinke, you wonder why they're 3 of the best in the game.
A pop up back of second. Castro there for out number 2.
And I think it's what's allowed Arrieta to really just hone in on his stuff and not so much his mechanics. And watch his leg get up. How strong and explosive. I mean, look at that back leg and how it comes through. And that's really how he's able to get the velocity. And for him, he's forgotten about that. Now he can put that to the side. That was a focus when he used to struggle. And now he thinks about, how can I manipulate the slider? Where do I want to locate this fastball? The stuff that he does so well is all he thinks about.
He's been so sharp tonight. The only base runner for the Dodgers came on an error in the 3rd inning. There's Jock Peterson, who struck out in his first at bat. Saw a couple of nasty sliders down and in under his hands from Arrieta in that at bat.
Jess, you mentioned the power that he has. It's been interesting the last couple days to hear stories from other Cubs players about his unbelievable workouts. Reminds me of the stories I used to hear about Roy Halladay. For example, one of his teammates was telling me before he pitches games in Wrigley Field, he'll go for a bike ride, 12, 13 miles, come back, work on Pilates, and then he starts preparing for that night's game.
Joe Maddon says he's as well-conditioned a player as there is in baseball as he falls behind 3-0 on Peterson.
Well, to Buster's point, what I like about Arrieta, the fact that he's not just going to the weight room trying to bulk up. I mean, this is a guy that focuses on endurance, conditioning, the weights, but as Buster said, the Pilates and the yoga, the flexibility, he gets it. There's not a lot of guys right now, guys in general, that are doing Pilates and yoga to complement all the weight work they're doing.
It's tough to balance. It's tough to balance when you're doing cardio and weights and Pilates.
You get it, Cookie.
Is this first-hand information you're passing on to us right
yeah,
here?
and I've struggled with all 3.
It's hard getting Crucky to focus when he's so, doing his yoga stretches right before the game.
So tonight we've got Crucky in a onesie and Crucky doing Pilates. Ball. Wow. On the appeal, he went. Come on back, Jock Peterson.
Here, Jock Peterson gets to 3-0. And you think, all right, I'm struggling. I got the count right where I wanted, 3-0. Arrieta throws a good pitch, 3-1 or 3-0, and now this one here, and this tells you, he did go, but this tells you, 3-1 check swings. I would almost venture to guess Don Mattingly never did that in his career. 3-1 check swing. I mean, that's either let it fly or you're not swinging at it at all.
Got a piece of that slider. That's the pitch he struck out on his first time up.
Well, in a young kid's head, like I said, 3-0, and now all of a sudden it's 3-2. You went from being in the catbird seat to now it's a battle, it's a struggle. And this is what young players have to deal with. This is part of the maturation of a young player is fighting through this situation right here.
Got him. Arrieta battles back and picks up strikeout number 7. 5 of the books in L.A. Taro with a ground out and a base hit. First pitch swinging and a fly ball to center field. Playable for Peterson. 1 down. Hey, later tonight on SportsCenter, Robin Roberts sits down with Serena Williams and talks about Serena Williams' desire to complete the Grand Slam at this year's U.S. Open, which you can see in its entirety here on ESPN. And then Lindsay Czarniak in a conversation with Jen Welter, the first female coach in the NFL. Sunday conversations with Serena Williams and Jen Welter tonight on SportsCenter.
Wonder when that's going to come in baseball. Basketball has one. The Spurs have a female assistant coach, very well respected by the players. Becky Hammond. And I wonder if baseball with Mendoza. What do you think?
I'm definitely not manager material.
No, I mean, let's not let the Stanford thing fool you. You need to be a hitting coach.
No, but I think there's plenty of women out there that know this stuff that would be good in a clubhouse.
Two and 1 the count on Arrieta. A couple of strikeouts tonight. Arrieta swinging right through that 88-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-2.
Yeah, and Arrieta's pitching great, but you got to give Alex Wood a lot of credit. 2 runs in the first inning, second inning they had runners on again, but since then he's settled down pretty good. And like Donnie Mattingly said, all we ask is for him to keep us in the game, and so far he has. It's just, he's pitching against one of the best pitchers in the game right now.
And quickly 2 down here in the top of the 6th as he reaches the 100 pitch mark. You'd figure this would probably be it. He's due up second in the bottom half of the inning as Addison Russell comes up.
And you remember Mattingly told us about the third time through. So far 1 for 7.
And definitely sharper now than he was earlier in the game.
He's just commanding his pitches. He was off, and even in the second inning you could tell he was just not getting his pitches where they needed to be, and Cubs hitters were taking advantage because he'd come right over the plate.
Looks like he's going to make quick work of the Cubs here in the top of the 6th. Peterson the catch, 3 up, 3 down in only 8 pitches to the bottom of the 6th. Arrieta headed back to the mound. 6 Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. The Cubs lead the Dodgers 2-0. Kike Hernandez the batter, a swing and a foul on. The best seats at every ballpark for every game. Visit MLB.com/tickets. It'll be Hernandez. Justin Turner has come out of the on-deck circle in Alex Wood's spot, and then back to the top of the order for Jimmy Rollins. Dodgers still looking for their first hit of the night as the breaking ball misses outside, and that's an example, Jess, there of the much slower slider that he'll throw to a righty every now and again. A lot of break on that 84-mile-an-hour breaking ball. There's the 1-1, and there's an over-the-top curveball line to left field, and coming on to make the catch, Matt Caesar, 1 down. Juan Nicasio is up in the Dodger pen. And Turner's been pulled back. And Alex Guerrero's going to come up instead.
Well, what happened there was if Kike Hernandez got on base, he was good. Don Mattingly was going to let Justin Turner hit, more power. But now that Kike Hernandez got on and it's not the tying run now more, he's going to let Guerrero hit the, try to get on base and get something started and save Turner possibly for the 9th inning.
Guerrero's got some power, 11 home runs and 190 at-bats this year. He's got 3 pinch hit home runs. Did a lot of that damage early in the season. One hopper right back to the mound. Did easily by Arrieta, and just like that, 2 down.
It surprises me that he came out first pitch swinging, not having the opportunity to be on deck, kind of unsure, and I'm sure he had an idea, hey, if he doesn't get on, you might have a chance here, but you think you take a pitch.
Well, or maybe he's been watching and thought, well, if I get a fastball, I better swing at it, because obviously no one's hit his slider yet. But that was always the key whenever I would pinch hit. When I was learning how to pinch hit, Tim Flannery, Greg Nettles, other guys that I started out with would say, first pitch fastball, let it fly, because the last thing you want to do is have to try to hit a breaking ball after sitting here for 7 innings. And that's what Guerrero tried to do. He hit it hard.
So the book is closed now on Alex Woods. 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs earned. He gave up the home run to Bryant back in the first. That has accounted for all of the scoring in this game. 2-0 the count on Jimmy Rollins, a fly out and a strikeout. Outside ball 3 as Rollins sees the shift again. So Russell over hugging the line on the left side in case Rollins drops a bunt down. Chris Bryant out in shallow right. Ball 4. First walk given up by Arrieta, just the second base runner of the night. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Cars.com. Now Cars.com helps you get the right service without all the drama. Beautiful night here in LA, bottom of the 6th. 2-0 Cubs lead the Dodgers. Runner at first, 2 down for Chase Utley, 0 for 2.
I think this could be a good chance to break up this thing that Arrieta has going. Utley pulls the ball. He pulled the ball on the ground hard. His 2 at bats, and now with Rizzo having to hold Jimmy Rollins on, Starlin Castro shaded more to second base. This could be one that sneaks through the hole.
Three on the right side. A big pull over the shortstop would normally be. Fly ball to left field. Well hit. Caesar back with room, and the inning is over. A 2-out walk, a deep fly ball, but nothing more at the end of 6. This year, holding them to a 177 batting average. First batter he'll face is a switch hitter, Dexter Fowler, batting from the left side. Fowler, Denorfia, and Bryant, top of the order for the Cubs. And out of the on-deck circle, we're going to see Joe Maddon make a move. Now that the Dodgers have gone to a righty, he's got Kyle Schwarber out of the on-deck circle to bat for Denorfia.
He's got Schwarber in the on-deck circle, but I saw Coghlan too with a bat in his hand somewhere down there, Chris Coghlan. So you wonder if this is the same thing that Don Mattingly did. If Fowler gets on, you let Schwarber hit. If he doesn't, you let Coghlan hit.
Base hit down the left field line for Fowler. He runs well, and he's on his way to second base, loping in with a double.
What I like about Fowler in the leadoff position is he's been a lot more selective, less aggressive, and because of that, he's seen the ball longer. And you see on this swing, watch where the ball gets to. It travels deep and late. A lot of times you hit this ball off your back knee. You're not going to see many third basemen, especially Hernandez. First game he's played there, well off the line. A good job by Fowler.
And that's the advantage of speed too, with less than 2 strikes. Is Kike Hernandez, like you said, Jesse, this is his first game at third base, but he also has to play in respecting the speed and the bunting ability of Dexter Fowler. Anything hit hard that's not right at him is going to go past him. Now the Cubs are in good shape right here.
Dangerous hitter in a Kyle Schwarber coming off the bench to pinch hit for Chris Denorfia. First pitch swinging, ground ball back to the mound. They're trying for Fowler, but he dives back in safely. And Schwarber will reach.
Well, this is a guy that saw Dexter Fowler get off. Watch Nicasio right here. If he throws immediately, he might have a chance, but it's too close in that situation. Once you saw Fowler start to go back, if you're not going to throw it immediately, once you see him go back, throw it to first, get the out. Now you have a runner on second, 1 out. Makes it a little more difficult now. So many different ways that the Cubs can go here in this inning.
The fielder's choice is the scoring. The Cubs do not have a single hit in this series with a runner in scoring position. They lost the first 2 games, scoring only 3 runs in the first 2. They've got 2 runs tonight, both coming on a home run in the first inning by the man in the batter's box right now, Chris Bryant. Part of the order now for the Cubs. Bryant the batter, Rizzo on deck.
Chris Bryant this month alone just showcasing that ridiculous bat speed. Talk a lot about the mechanics of his swing, but at the end of the day, he's just got talent. Picked his parents well because he has genes that he can do things a lot of hitters can't. Just the velocity he gets with his bat is the reason he's able to make such good contact with a variety of different pitches.
Chance to break it open here this inning for the Cubs, especially the way Arrieta's been pitching. But strike 3 called on Bryant. Big out for Nicasio and the Dodgers.
Well, this is frustrating for Chris Bryant. 0-2, you're up here trying to protect, and Nicasio throws a pitch again. Our K-Zone says it might have been just off the plate, but when the human element gets involved with 2 strikes, you got to swing at that. You can't let that close a pitch go and expect the umpire to call it a ball every time.
Now Rizzo. Rizzo with 78 RBIs on the season, 0 for 3 tonight. Takes high, ball 1. For 15 in the series with runners in scoring position.
I think this could change right here with Rizzo.
Playing to pull on the infield. Rollins playing almost directly behind the runner Fowler through a big hole on the left side. Activity again in the Dodger pen. Veteran left-hander J.P. Howell is up right now for LA.
Guess he's getting warmed up for Montero, or possibly pinch hitting for Matt Caesar.
Coghlan could hit for Caesar.
Coughlin's in the dugout loosening up with his helmet in his hand.
Meanwhile, Nicasio is making himself a mess right now. Had poor choice on a fielding play, and now 3-0 on Rizzo, who won't necessarily be taking on this pitch.
No, he won't. But it looks like Nicasio just has no desire to throw anything close and let Rizzo take a hack at it. I guess they always say there is a base open. It just happens to be third this time. The guy behind him's got 3 hits.
Way outside, ball 4, and they're loaded for Starlin Castro. An area of concern for the Dodgers has been their bullpen. You can see the numbers below average amongst National League teams. Rick Honeycutt, pitching coach, heading to the mound. Jake Arrieta having to take some time, sitting all by himself in that Cubs dugout as his teammates look to add to the lead. Look at what's coming up this week on ESPN. Tomorrow night, Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. The Yankees, who won again today, beat Atlanta 20-6, take on the Red Sox. Wednesday night, it'll be the Nationals, desperate for a hot streak to get back in the race of the NL East, taking on the team with the best record in baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals. And 1 week from tonight, Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. The Cardinals will host their rivals, the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates, Cubs, and Cardinals all have a home-and-home series left with each of the other 2. Pretty standard given the way the schedule works right now in baseball.
We possibly could get Garrett Cole on Sunday.
That's the word.
Pretty exciting the way he pitched his last outing.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Starlin Castro 3 for 3. Hot shot to second. Utley to Rollins to Gonzalez for the inning-ending double play. Wow, did the Dodgers need that? He hit a run. The Cubs leading 2-0. Changes for Chicago. Kyle Schwarber stays in the game in left field. After pinch hitting for Chris Denorfia, Matt Caesar moves from left to right. Adrian Gonzalez, first pitch swinging. Ground ball to first. 3-1 on the putout. 1 pitch, 1 out for Arrieta here in the 7th. Jess, what has made Arrieta so good tonight?
Well, Dan, what you look for is he tried to pick up a grip and pick up a pitch, and with his slider tonight, he's able to throw it so different. This is high velocity. Look at the movement. Look at the break. We're talking low 90s. Then he's able to kind of drop it down, take a little bit off of it. Look, now this drops about 3 to 4 miles per hour. That's just enough to still get that swing and miss, but you see the depth of it and the fact that he can manipulate the same pitch and a 5 mile per hour difference.
That's our high strength performance, brought to you by Chevy Silverado. Jake Arrieta's got this kind of stuff, as you just saw on the graphic. It's the 4th time in the last 2 seasons he has taken a no-hitter into the 7th. There has been 1 error, 1 walk tonight. He has struck out 7. Andre Ethier has grounded out and struck out.
And what I'm surprised with is that we have not seen the Dodgers swing more at first pitch. And Crucky, you mentioned it earlier. If he's going to give you a fastball, it's most likely going to be early. Otherwise, it just gets nasty. It gets crazy from there. And Arrieta does do a good job of not trying to be too predictable. But I'm surprised they're not looking more first pitch fastball.
0-2 to Ethier. Curveball in the dirt, ball 1.
And you know, as this game has progressed, it's not like the, you know, they Chase Utley hit a ball hard. There hasn't really been but a couple balls hit hard off Jake Arrieta so far in his 6+ innings of work.
Here's the 1-2 on the way, and a swing and a miss, and a slider down and in, 2 down.
This is that same slider, and with 2 strikes, you see where he can have the ability to manipulate this pitch, but you're seeing it out of the hand as a slider. But the velocity he throws it, and then the break, that late action.
That almost had the action of a split finger. It looked like it went straight down, but you know, he's gotten Peterson with it. He's gotten Jimmy Rollins with it.
Here's Carl Crawford, 0 for 2, fly ball strikeout. And a line out to second to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down, they go again. End of 7. Here's Matt Caesar leading off the 8th. First pitch swinging, fly ball to right. Routine play for Ethier, 1 down.
Crucky and Jess, did you guys believe in that?
You know, you believe whatever is going to make it work. Superstitions are one thing, but when you're talking about what's happening right now, you give that pitcher whatever they need. Now, if they're coming up and they're talking to you, they're asking questions, yes. But if they're sitting there over on the bench in their head, especially a guy as cognitive as Arrieta.
Meanwhile, Don Mattingly has made a pitching change. J.P. Howell will be entering the game for the Dodgers. So we'll step aside and come on back momentarily here with the J.P. Howell on the mound for the Dodgers. 2-0 Cubs lead, top 8. 1 out, nobody on. And Howell will face the left-hand hitting Miguel Montero. And a strike over the outside edge. Montero wasn't sure about that one. Of course, it's the opposing catcher. He's got his own opinion of the strike zone tonight. Is this the kind of situation, guys, where, you know, if you're Jake Arrieta, do you want to just get back out to the mound as quickly as you can? You don't want to have, whether it's pitching changes, delays, whatever the case may be?
Yeah, he does. But, you know, Montero would like to get a hit, as would Addison Russell, as would the rest of them. But, yeah, I think Jake Arrieta is so locked into what he's doing this year that this could be a 25-minute inning, and I don't think it's going to bother him.
Base hit off the end of the bat to center field for Montero, now 2 for 4. That will bring Arrieta to the plate.
The way that Russell's been swinging at his last 3 at bats. I mean, even Joe Madden, we were on the interview with him. He's, that was a nice piece he got there. You can tell this is a guy he's pulling for. So I think the ability right now for Arrieta just to get Montero into scoring position, move ahead and give Russell an RBI opportunity.
Incidentally, there have been 5 no-hitters already this season in baseball, including Mike Fiers of Houston no-hitting the Dodgers 9 days ago.
Chase Utley's first game as a Dodger.
Yep. The other 4 belong to Chris Heston of the Giants, Max Scherzer with the Nationals, Cole Hamels then of the Phillies, and Hisashi Iwakuma of the Mariners. Arrieta with a base hit. And now he's going to be out on the bases for a while. Just 9 days ago, Mike Fiers in Houston against these very same Dodgers. Why not? Enjoy it. Will we see a little more history here tonight? One walk, one batter reaching on an error. That's it. The batter is Addison Russell.
Of course, most pitchers would probably rather not be on the base paths when they have he's got going on right now. I'd rather be back in the dugout and lay down a bunt if you want a base hit, but talk about saving everything you have for the last two.
Just by looking at him, doesn't look like conditioning's an issue.
Don't see anyone bringing out a jacket to a.
Thank goodness. I never understood that. 90 degrees. Give me my jacket. I'm on base.
Got an interesting note that Elias passed along to us. We're 10 days shy of the 50th anniversary of a fascinating game played between these two teams. September 9th, 1965. Sandy Koufax threw a perfect game against the Cubs. Meanwhile, the Dodgers had just one hit in the game. Bob Henley, a complete game one-hitter in a defeat for the Cubs. Of the more than 209,000 Major League games that have ever been played, it's the only one ever with just one hit. Now, we don't have that kind of a situation here tonight. The Cubs have 11 hits in this game. But imagine a game where there was just one hit. It was a 7th inning bloop double by Lou Johnson, which was not involved in the scoring, in the run. Johnson scored in the 5th on a walk, a sacrifice, a stolen base of 3rd, and then a throwing error by the catcher that took the ball in the left field.
Was that close to being a dual no-hitter? Must have been an hour and 30-minute game.
Yeah, seriously. 1-1 the count. Arrieta at first, Montero at second, Russell the batter. And in there for a strike from Howell, 1-2. Because it's a close game, you can't just think about what Arrieta's trying to do. Cubs need a win, trying to add on to their lead here in the top of the 8th. And again, Howell needs to talk to Grandal. We saw this with the Cubs in last night's game, when John Lester and Miguel Montero had a number of conversations.
This is the hardest part about having situational pitching, relief pitching, and right now for Grandal, just trying to get on the same page.
Outside, 2-2.
So JP Howell tried to turn that ball over, trying to get Addison Russell to roll over one, try to get a double play and get out of this inning.
Ground ball to second. Utley's going to do it himself. So Arrieta, who was on the bases, will make his way back to the dugout and then back out to the mound as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Better of his over and over again. Just 85 pitches thrown as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Yasmani Grandal takes a belt-high strike, and it's 0-1. Longest hitless outing of his career came last year, 7 2/3. Grandal, Peterson, Hernandez, 6, 7, 8. 0-2.
I like that he started Grandal out with a breaking ball. This is a guy when we're showing shots of him in the dugout, although this last half inning he was on the base pass and you're thinking about what's going on inside his head. He knows who's coming up, and I think someone that told me yesterday he does not want to be the guy that's predictable.
Got it. One down.
When you start off with that breaking ball, you're able to set up not only movement, come in with lower velocity, but then he comes in high heat. I mean, you see this pitch up in the zone, and it just keeps riding up, and Grandal with 2 strikes can't lay off.
that's the pitch there. You read spin, you think, okay, he elevated it, but it has to come down a little bit, and it stayed on that same plane. It just kind of spun.
Now Jock Peterson, 2 at-bats, 2 strikeouts. The 2 closest calls to a base hit in this game. The one that Kike Hernandez hit back in the 3rd inning. Now to Starlin Castro at second. This, of course, before anybody was thinking of a no-hitter. That scored an error. And then Carl Crawford in the 7th inning hit a liner that Castro raced to his right and caught before it got out into right center field. Big wild swing and a miss there by Peterson, 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's got a whole winter to get home and try to fix that. You can't just swing and keep spinning yourself in the ground and expect to have any consistency.
Popped him up. Caesar, does he see it? Now he does. Boy, it looked like he lost that ball for a bit here in the twilight. Dexter Fowler was there. But boy, Caesar had to be holding his breath there for a second. He definitely lost that ball.
This is what happens at twilight when the sun's just starting to go down. You get a ball that's hit so loud. You see him kind of communicating there with his body language, and then it came out. But that's a scary feeling. And Jock Peterson just missed crushing this ball. He hit it that high. But look how relaxed Caesar was. A lot of outfielders might freak out and just bail. He stuck with it.
Here's Kike Hernandez. Curveball in the dirt for ball 1. Hernandez reaching on the air. We just showed you. Also a fly ball to left. The last Cubs no-hitter was back in 2008. Carlos Zambrano.
From the Dodgers' perspective right now, when you're facing a pitcher that's dealing, your mindset completely shifts. I mean, you're not swinging big early. You're literally just trying to slow things down, really trying to see the ball, do whatever you can to put it in play.
To his left, Russell got it. And he is through 8 with the no-hitter intact. You could see Arrieta was watching that one keenly when it got by him, wondering if Russell would have the range to get there. And the youngster did, and then some. Good play. End of 8. Still 2-0 Cubs. Up at the top of the 9th, some changes for the Dodgers. Justin Turner comes in at 3rd base. Kike Hernandez looked like he rolled his ankle at first base on that last play. So Turner's in at 3rd. Pedro Baez is in to pitch, and important here, it's a double switch. So Baez goes into Hernandez's spot. Justin Turner goes into the 9 spot. He will lead off the bottom of the 9th for the Dodgers. But first, the top half. Dexter Fowler takes outside ball 1 from Baez. After Fowler, Schwarber, and Bryant. It is still just a 2-0 game. It's been that way since the top of the 1st when Bryant homered.
Yeah, that's. You'll give the Dodgers pitchers credit. They, even though they've given up a ton of hits, they've walked guys, but they have kept the Cubs from scoring in the last 7 innings of this game, and Alex Wood has kept them in the game, giving them a chance.
Up the middle, a base hit for Fowler. He's 3 for 5.
I love watching how he's hitting tonight. Specifically, Fowler just has a good approach. It's 3 different pitchers that he's faced, and all he's doing is just trying to simplify and let this ball get to his back leg. This is something so hard to do as a hitter because your patience wants you to get it out in front, but you watch how much he lets this ball get back. Because of that, he's able to hit it right up the middle. All of his hits tonight coming middle to opposite field.
I think that's where Dexter Fowler gets in trouble. He gets home run happy, and he tries to pull balls and get out in front of balls, and he doesn't stay back like that. You know, his game to me is, even though he has 14 home runs, is get on, create havoc with your legs, hit the ball to all fields.
Here's Kyle Schwarber, his second at bat. Reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. Got called up in June when the Cubs had a week's worth of games in American League parks. He DH'd for that week. Hit really well. Went 8 for 22. Had a triple. Had a homer. Sent back down to continue to work on catching. But then eventually they needed some offense, so they called him up in July. And now not only can they not afford to be without him, he's in the lineup more often than not, mainly against righties. He has struggled against lefties. Has struck out 24 times in 48 at-bats against lefties. But boy, Crucky, there's some thunder in this bat when he's facing a righty.
There sure is, and you see the swing, though. I mean, it's a big, hard, aggressive swing.
That safely is Fowler as Schwarber strikes out.
But this is the way the game's played today. There's no shorten up, 2 strikes. You know, guys now are like, you know what, I still can hit a home run with 2 strikes. Why should I shorten up? You see the great ones, though. Rizzo, Joey Votto, the guys who high on base, high average hitters, you know, and with power, and they both give themselves up a little bit with 2 strikes.
Here's Bryant, who hit the 2-run homer way back in the first.
One that's working. If you look at tonight, and they win via the home run, and this is a team that has relied a lot on that. They have a lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts to go with it. But it's worked for them, and it's not the recipe for every team.
It's the same with the Astros. You know, it's another team in first place in American League West, and they strike out a lot, but they hit a lot of homers.
Shoot, the Dodgers are half the home runs that they score via the home run.
Yep.
They lead all of baseball in that category. The problem is you need to have the balance of, like you mentioned, Crucky, a guy like a Rizzo in your lineup, an Adrian Gonzalez that isn't always, they know how to shorten up and when to drive the ball through the gap and not just over the fence.
Count remains 0-2. Arrieta will face Justin Turner, Jimmy Rollins, and Chase Utley in the bottom of the 9th.
If memory serves me correctly, when Fiers threw the no-hitter in the 9th, I think it was Rollins, Utley, and Turner. Except now Turner's leading off this next inning.
Right on the outside corner with a slider, 2 down.
Crucky, I got to ask you, how do you, when you look at Rollins, you look at Utley, possibility of them looking at laying down a bunt, what do you think about that?
You know, 2-0. Your job's to get on base, and if it has to be through a bunt, even though a guy is a no-hitter, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, it's ridiculous. He got a no-hitter. You don't bunt with a." But if it's a 3-run game, okay, wait a second, a little much, 4-run, whatever. But a 2-run game. Let's say Turner bunts for a hit. Jimmy Rollins can hit homers. Chase Utley can hit homers. Adrian Gonzalez can hit home runs. You know, one swing, you tie the game. I wouldn't have a problem if one of them bunted, but.
Anthony Rizzo, the batter, 0 for 3 and a walk.
I got a feeling Arrieta's probably no easier to bunt than he is to hit.
Good changeup, 0-1.
You wouldn't get me 4 times through a lineup and a no-hitter, not try to lay it down. At some point. If anything, just to help you see the ball a little bit. Saw Carl Crawford do it, his 3rd at bat. Didn't go for it, but just kind of squared around. Just something, hey, I'm thinking about it.
And Rizzo lines one into right field, a solid base hit. Fowler around second, on his way to third, beats the throw. Cubs on the corners. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN is presented by Taco Bell's new $1 Daredevil Loaded Grillers. Try all 3 if you dare. and in part by the Gillette Shave Club. Join the club now at GilletteShaveClub.com. Jake Arrieta looking for some history, waiting for his opportunity to head back out of the bottom of the ninth.
How nice will that flight be out of here tonight, huh?
Trying to become the first 17-game winner in the majors this year as well. He and Madison Bumgarner currently share the major league lead with 16 wins apiece. Meanwhile, Starlin Castro, who's 3 for 4 tonight, trying to add to the Cubs' lead.
And his last at bat, he hit into that double play, but he hit the ball right on the screws to Chase Utley.
Now, you know how every now and again after a game, day or two later, maybe an official scorer has a look at a play and he can change his mind? They wouldn't do that in this situation.
Didn't that happen to CC Sabathia in Pittsburgh? It fielded a bunt and bobbled it, and they gave the guy a hit, and that was the only hit he gave up.
And would a score ever?
The Brewers tried to get him to change it.
You can't change
no,
an error to a hit and take a no-hitter off the board. You just can't do that.
No.
I've never heard of it, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Well, not unless the Cubs don't come out here anymore, and the official score probably doesn't care what the Cubs think. I did think, though, that ball that Kike Hernandez hit was a tough play, and
I agree.
Should have been ruled a hit, but that's why we announce and they have a
ground ball to third. And the inning is over. Here we go. Jake Arrieta headed to the mound for the bottom of the ninth. 3 outs away from making some history. Arrieta has thrown only 98 pitches. He has not allowed a hit in this game. He will face Justin Turner, Jimmy Rollins, and Chase Utley. And a strike. Turner has never faced him. Turner with his first at bat of the night. Came on in a double switch an inning ago. 0-2. Curveball fouled off. He's mixed the fastball, the slider, and the curveball beautifully tonight. Last Cubs no-hitter 2008, Carlos Zambrano. Last no-hitter anywhere, Mike Fiers, Houston 9 days ago against the Dodgers. Check the swing.
And the last 3 hitters of Mike Fiers' no-hitter were Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Justin Turner. Reversed, Turner, Rollins, Utley this 9th inning here for the Dodgers in this one.
Breathing hard, or if his heart's pounding, he's sure hiding it well. Pretty tough 2-strike hitter.
Yeah, but look what he's doing that we've seen others not be able to do, and that's stay within yourself, just try to foul tough pitches off, and or just trying to put them in play. Now, if Arrieta can throw that slider down and away, it could be a different story.
Got him swinging. Pitch in the dirt. Throw down to first. 1 down. Tenth strikeout tonight for Arrieta.
This is just a change of vision for Turner. After going up in the zone twice, he comes down with the slider, bouncing in front of home plate.
And give Montero some credit, too. He backhanded that ball. If that ball doesn't hit it in the center of his glove, it kicks away. Turner gets on base. Now you open up holes, and you have to face at least one more hitter.
The batter, Jimmy Rollins, 0 for 2 and a walk. So a couple of real veterans standing between Jake Arrieta and some potential history as Clayton Kershaw and others look on. Rollins the batter, Utley on deck. Arrieta 2 outs away. Shift on again. Big hole on the left side. Same defense that Rollins has seen in now 3 of his 4 plate appearances tonight.
And Addison Russell is trying to take the bunt away from Jimmy Rollins in case he decides to lay one down.
108 pitches thrown by Arrieta. His season high is 122. As Joe Madden told us before the game, he feels Arrieta might be as well conditioned as any player in baseball. Look at that slider. 2-2. A lot of Cub fans here in Los Angeles enjoying this one. Got a piece.
Again, this is where Jimmy Rollins is susceptible with two strikes. That slider down in his back foot that Arrieta has already got him on once.
And now with the count 2-2. The defense changes, and Russell moves back to his shortstop position, so a huge hole right up the third baseline. Oh boy. Cub fans don't like that. Number 11 for Arrieta, a new season high. It'll be up to Chase Utley. Utley's 0 for 3. Who are we kidding? Everybody's 0 for 3. You could just safely assume everybody's 0 for 3. Utley 0 for 9 in his career against Arrieta. Strike 1. Time call, that time by Montero, the Cubs catcher. He's flirted with them before. He's a strike away now. Dodger fans and Cub fans alike oohing and eyeing as Utley fouls it off.
On that one there, 0-2. Arrieta reached back for one there, getting thrown that one at 96 miles an hour.
Utley settling back in. The count remains 0-2. Bounced in. out the side in the 9th inning. And Jake Arrieta has thrown his first career no-hitter. What a masterful performance by Arrieta tonight. The 6th no-hitter thrown in the majors this year. There was 1 error, there was 1 walk, there were 12 overpowering strikeouts tonight from Arrieta. And the Cubs snap their losing streak, and Arrieta makes some history here at Dodger Stadium.
I think that last inning exemplified the way he pitched all game long, really utilizing that fastball, the slider, his curveball, but not being predictable as to when he threw them. Would make sense that his last strikeout comes with the slider, a pitch so nasty, so dirty. Don Mattingly even said earlier, this is a pitch, one of the toughest in all of baseball.
The 14th no-hitter in Cubs history, and the first in the career of Jake Arrieta. On his 116th pitch, he strikes out Chase Utley to seal it. It had been a rough road trip for the Chicago Cubs, but it ends on an extremely high note. What a performance by a guy who just picked up his 17th win. What a season he's having. And he's standing by with a Buster Olney.
Hey, Jake. Jake, congratulations. What's going through your mind right now?
I mean, it went by so quick, really. I don't know. Feels like that could have been just, 5 innings. The way it kind of played out. Stuff was good. Commanded the ball well. And that's it. I don't know. That's kind of speechless right now.
When did it start coming into your mind this was a possibility?
Well, I've been in those situations before, fairly late in the game, 6th, 7th, 8th inning. So it was kind of familiar territory until I got to the 9th. It's a great feeling.
Tell me about the teammates' response in the dugout during the course of the game.
I'm pretty quiet, methodical throughout the game. So, I talk with the guys casually from time to time, but most of them kind of leave me alone. Especially as it gets later in the outing. But Maile came over, hitting coach, like, hey, all those balls off the plate you're swinging at. And I'm thinking about my swing, not even really worried about going out there on the mound. I was just trying to get some knocks at the dish. But, it was fun, Buster. It was fun, man.
Tell me about the near misses that jumped up for you. There was a ground ball to second base that was ruled an error.
I thought it was a hit. I really did. It was a tough play. Hernandez hit it well. Tough short hop for Castro. But, they scored an error. Thankfully so, and was able to finish it off.
Chase Utley's deep fly to left field.
Curveball kind of up, didn't have much bite to it. I think he might have thought it was going to come into the zone a little bit more. Didn't get great wood on it, but enough to get it to the track, and thankfully Caesar was there to catch it.
Castro cutting off Addison Russell cutting off the ground ball.
Incredible. He's been lights out for us. Castro's handling the transition to second well. He caught a liner there towards the end of the game at second base that kept the no-hitter intact, and lights out defense. I threw the ball well, but those guys played good behind me too.
What does this mean to you after the journey in your career, Jake?
I think it'll be even more special the longer it sets in, but it's a good feeling. I've come a long way. I just look forward to keep getting better, building, being a good teammate, and hopefully getting to the postseason with this group of guys.
Jake, congratulations. Dan, back to you.
Thank you.
All right, Buster, thank you. What a performance by Jake Arrieta with